Gene in Syracuse, New York. Republican caller. Welcome to the conversation, Gene. Go ahead.
Good morning. Yes.
Good morning.
The idea that good morning. The idea that this was an insurrection. I understand it's been put out there, and a lot of people believe it because they've seen the videos, and of course the videos are heavily redacted from the actual videos. It was live on TV, by the way. So anyone who actually watched it live on TV would say, wait a minute, that isn't what I saw. You know, so now the videos that you will see in the coming weeks and months are going to show the reality that this was anything but an insurrection. This was when Donald Trump, the last thing he said when he released the crowd from the gathering, he said, go to the seat of power, I forget the word he used, and he said, and protest peacefully. I think he repeated it a couple times, okay? That was the order from him, and that's what the people did. The people that you saw doing the things that were isolated for the purpose of propaganda were led by people that were not Trump supporters.
Gene, what evidence do you have of that? What evidence do you have of that?
The videos of these people telling their story, the actual arrests of some of them, okay, so Antifa and people like Antifa were infiltrating into that crowd. This is all set up beforehand. It's so obvious. And they were the instigators, the ones who broke in. The Capitol Police were in on it. There's plenty of video of the Capitol Police opening the doors and ushering them in.
Okay,
there were people.
Congressman, do you agree with that caller?
Look, he makes some good points. And look, here's another thing. My colleague Thomas Massie on the Judiciary Committee asked Attorney General Merrick Garland, were there federal agents in the crowd? And Garland said, didn't accept that he would answer because there's an ongoing investigation. If there weren't federal agents in the crowd, he could have easily said no. So there are some real reasons for concern that there were people there for nefarious purposes. The FBI had information ahead of January 6th that there would potentially be violence. And the Capitol Police was not well prepared to deal with that violence. I don't think the Capitol Police is still well prepared to deal with it. And while there have been some leadership changes, the rank and file folks are still concerned about the limits of that. And recently a whistleblower resigned because of that here at the Capitol Police. So that'll tell you they're not taking it as seriously as they could and should. So again, I think a lot of people conflate the rally that was at the mall. That was really a speech by Donald Trump and a political rally where he did say, peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. And the actions of some people, and clearly some people showed up on that day with malicious intent. You don't show up to a peaceful rally with zip ties. So there were people here who came for bad purposes, but I don't think that's something that's reflective of the crowd. And that's the problem. The House leadership, Speaker Pelosi, many of my colleagues here in the House, and frankly, lots of folks around the country, including in the media, who continue to repeat the lie that this was an insurrection, some organized attempt. They try to paint as broad of a brush as possible to try to undermine any support for the political right in the country. And I think that's dishonest.
Congressman, the Attorney General Merrick Garland will be testifying at an oversight hearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee tomorrow. At 10 a.m. Eastern Time, we're going to have coverage of that on C-SPAN 3 on our website, cspan.org, or you can download our new video app. It's called C-SPAN Now, and it's free on any mobile device, and you can watch it there. Congressman, what if you were to ask the Attorney General about that day, what would you ask him?
Oh, about January 6th specifically. I think you would say, what were the federal agents who were present doing? As a follow-up to what Thomas Massie asked. And I think if I were asking another question, I would say, why are defendants and members of Congress not being provided exculpatory evidence there? Or holistic evidence. It doesn't have to be just full access to the video of that day, and they're denying it because it would provide a good defense. Some of the video that I've seen and is public show people walking through the ropes in the Capitol. They're not there doing violence in the Capitol. They didn't burn the Capitol down. Now, there were people that did things just by entering that were wrong, but the idea that they were here to somehow topple the Capitol, for the majority of people that came in, they might have got caught up in the moment and crossed a line that they maybe didn't come here to plan to do. They should still be held accountable for that. But the investigation should be focused on who were the people that came here with a plan in advance to do something, including agitate a crowd. And I don't think this investigation is rightly focused on that topic.
What is an insurrection, sir?
An insurrection is a planned violent attempt to overturn a government. This was not a planned violent attempt to overturn the government of the United States.
We're going to get in Henry, who's in Michigan, Democratic caller. Hi, Henry.
Warren, those people were violent. Steve Bannon's words showed that there was pre-planning. They were trying to stop the certification of the rightfully elected president. No matter what you right-wing, Trump-loving, Trump-worshiping people try to do, if we have 100 presidents, if we're lucky enough to have 100 presidents, Donald J. Trump's name is going to be ranked at number 99 or 100. You people are vested in trying to keep America miserable, divided, and violent so that you fascist, insurrectionist traitors can try and take over this country.
All right. Well, Henry, let's get a response from the congressman.
Well, I don't think the gentleman's very well reasoned, and the effort was to have a vote, which is the 12th Amendment. And frankly, if you go back, it's been a bipartisan effort for decades. So in 2004, Ohio had some irregularities with their election. This was John Kerry versus George W. Bush. And there were 137 Democrats who did not accept Ohio's electoral votes because they didn't have assurances that that election didn't have problems. And they didn't like that the net effect was the Republican, George W. Bush, won the electoral votes for Ohio. So 137 Democrats did not accept those results in Ohio. In 2016, many Democrat colleagues objected to states that weren't even in dispute. I mean, like Wyoming, really? Was there some confusion that the intent of Wyoming was to vote for the Republican in the race? The objections on January 6th of 2021, unlike those objections in January 6th of 2017 or January 6th of 2005, were focused on areas where there were massive irregularities, and they weren't an effort to steal the election or give Democratic votes to a Republican. They were simply saying, until we get an audit of the results of Pennsylvania, for example, then we can't accept those results, which is the same exact vote that 137 Democrats cast on January 6th of 2005.
Congressman Warren Davidson, Republican of Ohio, thank you, sir, for the conversation this morning.
Thank you.